Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast with me, Nick Boddington, and James Urquhart. On today's podcast, we discuss why the full funnel strategy of top, middle, and bottom of the funnel can be too expensive to run as a whole and why that is. So let's get in and give you some answers. Good morning, James.
Morning, Nick. How are we?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just
James on a little walk.
Yeah, again.
This morning. Yeah, I'm on the camera, so don't worry, guys. You can still see me if you're watching this, which no one does. I think we've gone up like maybe 2 subscribers on YouTube in the last 3 months. Pretty good, isn't it?
Whole 2.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Sorry on the house.
Yeah, YouTube stuff, but I suppose we don't put any focus in it whatsoever. So let's get straight in because I know that we've got meetings starting in 25 minutes. Right. So this is a big topic on my agenda at the moment, running top, middle, and bottom of funnel. And I'm not having a go at running top, middle, and bottom of funnel because if we were to say to anyone, rule 101 of pretty much all types of marketing is to grow awareness, nurture them a little bit, rub them on the back, and then go in for the kill at bottom of funnel. But I wanted to make everyone aware, especially if you're working with clients, because this is where I hear it the most, is we go into everything with a full funnel strategy, but a lot of the time the full funnel strategy ends up being too expensive to work. Let me give you an example. If we work with whole numbers, let's say we are doing a lead gen campaign. And I suppose this goes to lead gen campaign. It goes to ecom as well, but ecom is probably a lot it's easier with ecom to get someone to buy at each stage of the funnel. And as long as you're breaking even or making a profit, you can actually get the funnel to work. So let's focus on lead gen and we'll do a little bit on ecom. So with lead gen, you've got an audience that don't know who you are. And then at middle of funnel, you want to go back to the audience who don't know who you are. So let's say you retarget people who are on website visitors and you get them back in again. And then at the bottom of funnel, you do a conversion campaign to get them to get a lead. Yeah. Now, if you are to run traffic or awareness at the top of funnel and then a bit of traffic at the middle of funnel, you're not going to get any leads because the algorithm now is just so intricate that you have to run conversion campaigns at all 3 stages. And I know this because recently I've been spending a lot of money with some clients doing this. So it's where my head has been at for weeks now, like every single day. So example, you're running a campaign at bottom of funnel for lead gen. So you're going out to a cold audience. This is very common and it works a lot of the time. You're going out to a cold audience with a conversion campaign, optimized for a submit button on your landing page, and you're pulling leads in for £10 a lead. So you're spending, let's say you're spending 100 quid a day and you're putting leads in at £10 a lead. Now, Mr. Client turns around and says, I want to get the price lower or I want more leads coming through. So you then turn around, Mr. Strategic ads advertiser says, well, why don't we run a bit of a top or middle of campaign and warm some stuff up? Okay, that sounds great. Well, how much are you going to spend? I'm going to spend another 100 quid a day warming stuff up and getting more leads into the bottom. Problem with this, let's say your leads don't go up and you're spending 100 quid a day at the bottom of the funnel and you're getting 10 leads for 10 quid. If you're now spending another 100 quid, your leads have just gone up to 20 quid per lead. Mr. Client's not happy anymore. So it's really, really hard to get that to work. And we're running that now for a client of ours where we've gone in for the strategy. A year ago, we strategized it out. We've seen loads of changes over the last however long. And right at this moment in time, I'm spending an hour or so every single day optimizing different types of ads to get a bottom of funnel working better. So interesting enough, when we're running the bottom of funnel for this particular client for the last year, they've just had a bottom of funnel and we've been using Google bring warm traffic in and then riding retargeting on Facebook to get the lead. So people are coming in from Google saying, hey, I'm interested in this product. They go into the website, they then bounce, and we're using Facebook to retarget people if they've been to one particular page on that website. and it worked. And we were getting leads at £25 per lead. Then they gave us more money. So we thought, okay, we'll keep that running as it is, and we're going to bring more people in at the top of funnel, bring them in. And we've realized that we have to use conversion at the top of funnel to bring more people in. But now we've got a cost per not lead, a cost to get someone to that particular website page where we're retargeting of 10 to 12 quid. So now we've added another 10 to 12 quid, or if not more, to the bottom of funnel stats. James, did that make sense?
It does. It does. I guess my question would be, running just a conversion campaign, so you're not essentially, let's say, educating the audience to bring them in invasively via Facebook. Are you then shrinking your market size? And also, are you then going away from, I guess, traditional marketing, which is, warming someone up, educating them, engaging with them, sending them down that funnel? And is it a more predictable model doing it that way, opposed to going out and just optimizing for conversions?
Well, I would agree with what you said, but what we're finding is that to get so for instance, like this particular client, I've then done a reach campaign, and a reach campaign is spending, I don't know, 25 quid a day to anyone who's been on the website, just to warm these people up so that I know that I can retarget them again. Is it having an effect? It might be. I can't really test it, because all it's going to tell me is how many people it's showing the ad to. See what I mean? So I think where it's hard with Facebook now is awareness, traffic, all these sorts of things just don't really work to get you conversions. They work in the way of showing you people, and they traffic works in getting clicks to your website. But once it's there, I just think it's very, very hard now to. If we told our client that we could get them a lead at £60 a lead, and that worked with their KPIs, then we could run the rest of that funnel, couldn't we? Because we know that we couldn't, because their KPI is still so much lower. But let's say it was, if we were getting £25 a lead, that gives us another £45 a lead or £35 a lead to actually play around with the other stages of the funnel. But it never works like that, because you never know really what it's going to cost to get a lead, do you? It's like going back to that podcast we did weeks ago, where a client will say, I want £10 a lead. We go, well, we don't know what it's going to come out with. And then it comes out at £25 a lead, and the client's having panic attacks, not being able to grow their business and scale it. So
but I guess it's
where you have to do the testing first.
Yeah, but I guess it's where they see, I guess the problem with Facebook marketing and how it's evolved over the last 24 months is that people are now just seeing it as a conversion metric. So they put in X and they get Y. That's all they're getting.
Yeah.
But actually, it's very cheap. You can very cheaply educate an audience. You can very cheaply, show an audience your product or service for very little money.
Yeah, I think it's where you have to. I think the client needs to be aware of it, doesn't it? Well, this client started off like that. So it's like, okay, we're going to spend this amount of money at top of funnel to create awareness. You are not going to get any leads, but you are going to spend £20,000, and millions of people are going to see your ad 3 times. Okay, that's brilliant. And then you get to the bottom of the funnel. It's like, how much is an app coming in at? Oh, 25 quid. Oh, but what about the other 20 grand we've spent? Oh yeah, that needs to be added onto it. So then they start looking at their KPIs differently. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, isn't it? And you and I have both seen other businesses that we work closely with who work more in the organic world, where they're sort of seeing these things happen and going, oh my God. It's like they come to the end of a year or an end of a contract, and the client's going, what's our ROI? So if we were to just work on that theory then of that awareness at the top of funnel being 20 grand spend just so that 2 million people can see an ad 3 times. If we were just doing that, and we did that for 2 months, and at the end of it, that client came back and said, okay, of those 2 million people, how many conversions do we get? None. suddenly there's no ROIs there.
I see brand awareness as like a leaflet drop.
Yeah.
You're very, very lucky to understand what your ROI is. And that's the truth, to be fair, from a leaflet drop. I had a leaflet through from a restaurant, I think a month ago, because it was a new restaurant in Leamington. And I actually went and ordered from it. They have no idea that my conversion and me converting into their website, into their restaurant, was from that leaflet. They have no idea, no measurable.
Because they haven't, but what they should have done is put a little voucher code on it.
They could have, but who uses those really? Yeah, but who uses those? Come on. You just don't do it.
No, but if they said if you get 25% off your first order by using leaflet drop B, and they had to say it on the phone, they could record that.
They could, but again, it's
the restaurant's not going to think like that because they're specialised in cooking food, not marketing.
Yeah, so that restaurant, they've probably done leaflet drops because they're new. They were doing some really cheap Facebook advertising as well. I can bet your bottom dollar that the KPIs from the leaflet drop compared to the Facebook advertiser, if they were using an agency, were very bloody different. Because because the leaflet drops, I think a lot of people are just like, oh, we might get something from it. And they're seeing it's pure brand awareness. They're not seeing it as a conversion. Oh, we should, we might get something from that.
Yeah. But don't you think that because they're then paying an agency, or if they do the marketing themselves, every single one of our clients would be like, okay, at the end of the month, they get the report. Unless they went in to us saying, I want you to put this ad out and I don't care about what business I can win. Look at some of the clients we deal with now where, we've got the trainer company in America who want to get people in their store. We've got to try and figure out a KPI to get people in their store and how we measure that. So you're creating the brand awareness, which is fine, and we're targeting people. I've got a call with them today. Look at the stats. Loads of people in around their area on a 25 kilometer radius around their store, and it's a wicked store, massive store, to get people in to buy running trainers and things like that and sports kit. But it's like, okay, how do we know if someone's walked in? We've tried the store walk-in thing that Facebook's now doing. Apart from Facebook doesn't give us any way of seeing the store traffic as a KPI on the ads manager, which is completely unhelpful. So we've stopped doing that. We found out reach is half the price of doing store traffic. But we're looking at, we've got if they click the link, they can go to a voucher code, well, not a code, just the $20 off your trainers, screen print this. And we're going with a screen print on their phone, screenshot your phone, this ad, and show it in the store. Try and create that awareness. So automatically, obviously, they're wanting to create awareness, which is absolutely great. But ideally, Mark wants people in the store buying trainers. And how can you know? How do you figure out whether that awareness is? And I think with what you're saying with the leaflet drop, I think it's a psychological thing that you're quite happy to go and spend 1,500 quid getting leaflets done because you're holding it, going, oh, look at these, we've got a whole box of leaflets. Now let's get them through people's doors. They do that and they think, oh, that's that job done. I hope they come in. The minute they start doing some advertising on Facebook, it's like they can see the money going out on a daily basis. And it's like, well, how many people have come in? I spent 100 quid yesterday. How many people have come in? I don't know. Oh, this isn't working. You know what I mean?
I think it's a mentality. Yeah, I think it's a mentality shift. And the problem is this digital world, as we discuss on here, is that it has become that, and unfortunately that's because of advertising and agencies like us, advertising themselves is going, look, you've put in X and you've created Y. That's fine, but these ads that you're seeing on Facebook and Instagram from these agencies, they might only be showing you the bottom of funnel conversion ad, which is going to convert at 8 times or 9 times on occasion because you've spent so much at the top and middle, which is fine. But when you look at the overall account, how much have you actually made and how profitable is that account?
Exactly, which is where the title comes from on this podcast is all of our clients will, if you look at just the bottom of the funnel, everything's fine, isn't it? But it's measuring all the top parts, because at the end of the day, you've got a total spend and you've got a total taken. And if the total taken is less than the total spend, you've got an angry client.
But I think it's understanding that what is that top of funnel there for? Like what's that KPI for that ad? So yes, from an overall account, how does it look? But I generally believe, not only us, I think the industry that we're in has to change its tack in terms of how we actually market ourselves, how we're showing clients, what's going on and what's actually the true value of that ad or that strategy. Because like you said, when you look at the overall account, look at what you said from 10 to 20 pounds, to double their lead cost from 10 to 20, that may still be very, very profitable for that business.
Yes.
But unless we know that, we can't add that into our arsenal when we're running their ads. So let's just say hypothetically that at £10 they're absolutely creaming it, but at £20 they're still very, very profitable. Well, if it means that the top of funnel is actually not only giving you conversions or helping conversion the bottom of funnel, but it is getting your name out there, your brand out there, all the rest of it, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
I would do it. I look at the work we do for our own stuff. There's a lot of ads that we do that isn't conversion led, but I understand I want to get the message out there about us, whether that's MIB or that's on social. It's that's what we're trying to do. But I think it's more and actually educating the clients and obviously if you're doing this yourself, understanding what is the objective of that ad and look at it in its own way. If your bottom of funnel is, let's just say £20 a day, and you've got a bottom of funnel at £40 a day, as an example, what's that £20 a day there for? Are you willing to spend that £20 a day and not get annoyed when it goes out every day?
Yes.
Like the leaflet drop. Because the problem is, leaflet drops are still prevalent, especially with localized businesses. And they do work to some level. Look at me, I've been converted via a leaflet, not in 7 days, obviously like the attribution window that we're working to. It probably took 4 weeks for me to go, oh, that new restaurant, here, Jess, we'll order from there. But the problem is it's a physical product, isn't it? You can feel, you can touch it, you can smell it. So when, you look at these leaflets from a business owner's perspective, oh, this is really cool, we get out to all these people. Well, actually, what we're doing on Facebook is that's on steroids because you're getting that leaflet in a digital form, which again, people aren't seeing the value in just that creative there. But also we're getting some more targeted people because leaflet drops aren't that targeted. You can do postcodes and you can do very limited in terms of, ages and stuff like that. But what you can't do is, that person likes eating out Just Eat, or they don't, or Deliveroo. You can't go to that level of detail. So why then are leaflets and that top funnel awareness campaigns, why aren't they looked at in the same breadth that, like I said, a leaflet drop would be? And I think it's just that, that mentality shift and what's that ad there to do?
So you think that then if someone's proposing to themselves or proposing to a client, that if they're wanting to do that whole thing, then it's like, okay, if they said, right, but here's 100 quid a day, you could say, right, 30 quid is going to be at the top of funnel. You're not going to get anything like that. That's just awareness. We're not building that's a separate pot of money.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
You take the other 70 quid to build at the bottom of funnel and the middle of funnel base, and you actually bring it out. So depending on what objectives you're using, whether it's traffic, awareness, reach, or whatever, is okay. You've got the 30 quid that's left over a day. That's what we're going to focus our ROI on, not the other remaining 70 quid, which is awareness, like leaflet dropping.
Yeah, 100%. Because otherwise you're going to get into that shift of how much am I putting in and how much am I getting out in terms of the whole account. And it can't be done like that. It really can't be. It can be if they're all contributing to one another. But as we know, especially since the attribution window's been changed so much, unfortunately, that full funnel, top, middle, and bottom, it can still work. So I'm not saying it can't, but it has changed since our window's been decreased. And it should be. I think they should have their own separate KPIs. Clearly, like the account that you discussed earlier, in terms of, we need someone to get to stage 1, which is going to then help our bottom of funnel. That's fine, but we're understanding that, and we're talking through the client with that and going through them and their understanding and getting it. But they're looking at it from a whole account. They shouldn't be. This should be looked at and it's in its by itself funnel. And what's the KPI for that?
Yeah. So it all depends really on the client, doesn't it? And what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I suppose from an agency, we're just so wrapped up. And this is why we're good at what we're doing. We're an ROI agency, aren't we? With advertising. So it's like we want an ROI on everything they do. But I suppose, as with some of the clients that we're taking on now, they are wanting to create their awareness. They have quite a lot of money, and I suppose it's going in those with the right thing to say, okay, well, you could give us 100 grand, but we need to know what they want to do at all stages.
Yeah,
because if you're running a conversion campaign, you can't get loads of impressions.
No, but like I said, then if you were to put it side by side for, let's say, leaflet drops, let's say organic to a degree, buying a cold marketing list if it's B2B, and shifting that out via MailChimp or Mailgun or whatever system you use, you're only going to get so targeted. There's only you can't go as granular as you can using Facebook. So why wouldn't you just put that leaflet, that email, whatever that may be, and put it in the digital form and put it via Facebook or Instagram? There's no difference. But the KPIs need to be different. Emails typically is an open rate. Typically, so most of the people that we sell data to want to know what the open rate is going to be. They don't even ask how many they're going to sell from it. Bizarre. They actually ask, what's the open rate going to be? What's the click-through rate? Now, if that's the only KPI they're looking for from email marketing, why on earth then is digital going, well, how much am I going to make from that top of funnel ad? Wait a minute. You're hitting someone once, realistically, depending on your market size. They're not going to convert straight away. We know that, especially if it's a high ticket item. Why is that, again, being looked at in a different way just because it's a Facebook ad?
Yeah. So I suppose it's just the way we've got to explain it to a client, isn't it? Or if it's our own business, people listening to this, it's what your own KPIs are and what you're trying to get out of your advertising.
And especially from a localized business, there's nothing wrong with whacking an ad out and you've got quite a high frequency on the ad, whether it's a restaurant, because you do need to be in people's eyes and ears all the time. We know that, 17, between 12 and 17 touch points to convert someone in the B2B space. It's similar in a way, depending if it's an impulse buy or high ticket, whatever that may be, in the consumer space. You do need to be in front of these people. And again, this notion that a top of funnel ad is going to, or brand awareness ad, let's call it, is going to convert someone. It's not there to convert someone. That's not the aim of that ad. And yes, from an overall account, whether this is your own business or you use an agency, yes, it needs to obviously be factored in. But are you factoring your email marketing costs using Mailgun? Are you factoring, whatever system you use via e-commerce? If you're not factoring it all in, then you shouldn't be factoring in the awareness as well. It's bizarre.
True. True.
But it is again, it's frustrating because again, this Facebook ad world that we're in, like I said, agencies like ourselves, you market, and we've all seen them. These ads going, hey, look, they're putting X and they've created Y, and these pictures and these screenshots they're impressive, aren't they? Some of them are crazy, but we don't know the true context of that success. We don't know what it's taken to get that. All of it may be bottom of funnel, which is scooping up from Google. I look at one of our guttering clients, Nick. We do very, very well for them. If I looked at the account, you'd go, oh my God, I've got to work with this agency. But actually what you don't know is there's probably about 70 grand a month spend by Google, which we're not showing on that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like this particular client I've been talking about, they know that Google's contributing to that, helping that bottom of funnel for us. And it's like, well, yes, that's the strategy. The new strategy now is that we're going to use more of your money to create, get more people from Facebook cold into the funnel. But the client's like, that's brilliant, but I still need the lead cost to be the same.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately this goes back down to unfortunately that post-click and what other numbers you need to hit, in terms of that business, what lead cost, what's the, the ceiling of your lead cost need to be for this to be profitable. Now, what's the lifetime value over 1 to 2 and 3 years? Can you cross-pollinate in terms of product? So if they come in for one product, can you then cross-sell them to another product? Then that increases the lifetime value. So yes, we're discussing it as an overall, but again, unfortunately, it comes down to what that lead cost is and can you make it work? It always comes down to that, obviously, the top of funnel brand awareness. I'm a big believer that it should be on, especially for localized businesses, and especially if you want to really disrupt the market where you've got a good product or service, really good. And some of the products we sell for the clients are amazing, but they haven't got those budgets to do that, and we're understanding of that. But like the client you've discussed a lot during this, they've got silly money. Even then, we can't do it because they're so KPI focused on this app cost, which is nuts, because they should have the money to be able to do it. But as always, it's down to what that cost per lead is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, it's meeting time now, so we'll have to wrap this up. But I hope that helps everyone. It's more of a helping people understand that whole funnel strategy, because we all go into it. All the people I consult, everyone goes in the same idea, but then it's like, oh, but that's putting prices up. I will not put your prices up, it's put your acquisition costs up. I suppose that's how we need to look at it. It's like, if you're looking at the whole account, how much are you spending on the whole account and how much is it costing you to acquire a customer? Because it's not just that one ad at bottom of funnel, you've got to include the rest of it. And I don't think people realize that.
No. We'll get there.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope that helps, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, Nick. See you later, mate.
Cheers. Bye.